Yeah.
I know that you give presentations. People can go to your website right now, leilasales.com, and find out more information because they've heard how eloquent you are, how wonderful you are at expressing yourself. They're going to want more of this. They're going to want to hear what you have to say. But I know you give a presentation on what authors need to know about the business of publishing.
Hmm.
What kind of taste can you give us just for free? What do authors need to know?
Um, in that presentation, I talk about a lot of different things, as sort of like what the different departments at a publisher are doing, sort of who's taking care of what. But a lot of, I will say, like the kind of tidbit that I'll give you in advance is that I talk a fair bit about finances. I feel like most authors, even authors who are published, have so little understanding of the finances, and they sign their contract and often like don't really know what it is that they're signing. They're like so excited just to have a book out in the world that um yeah, that maybe the rest of it kind of eludes them. So going over like, okay, like here's how advances work, here's how royalties work, here's how um bonuses work, and what makes a book profitable, and the kind of stuff that many authors are like, oh, like I'm not a math person. It's like, well, like when it's your income, you should be at least a little bit of a math person.
Well, I assume that once the book comes out and everyone loves it, there's great fame, and then fortune follows, right? That's just how that works.
Sure, sure. That's the one slide in my PowerPoint. Just it just shows raining dollar bills, and then I move on.
Sure, it's a very short presentation.
Yeah,
Congratulations, author, you've won. Here's
you
what
did it.
coming through. And then what editors wish writers knew? What should writers know about editors that's not commonly known?
So I do, as I said, I wrote an article about this for Publishers Weekly, and I highly recommend the article because I say like everything in it. But I think the thing that I most want authors to be aware of is that just how little time editors spend with manuscripts and authors that they don't already have signed up. That is to say, submissions. I think like as a writer and you send a submission, it's a picture book submission and it takes you 4 months to hear back. And you're like, what is this? It's 500 words. Like, couldn't you just read it and respond to me, tonight? So if you understand what editors actually spend their time doing and how little of it is focused on reading submissions and how much of it is focused on working with the manuscripts that they already have acquired, I think things start to make more sense and at least seem less like they're just ignoring you.
And what have you got coming next? What can we be looking forward to?
Ooh, good question. In terms of teaching, I know I'm teaching a one-off class about the sort of like how the basics of how book publishing works. It's an intro to publishing class, intro to Kidlit. I'm teaching that for the illustration department. I think in August. There's a good chance I'll have something before then, but that's the one I know I have scheduled. And then I'm writing another middle grade with Abrams right now, which hopefully will come out in fall 22, but I would have to finish it first. So, we'll see.
And I've got two last questions for you, and we'll call it a night. That's a
yeah,
plan.
That sounds great.
First one's impossible,
Right.
but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway. Knowing that we do not know the future, at least I don't.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
I don't want to make assumptions, but we've had this huge pandemic. We've seen it impact publishing. We're probably going to see it continue to impact us. How do you imagine, other than hopefully more remote work opportunities are going to be opening up, how do you foresee that impacting publishing as a whole, and how are you making plans to prepare yourself for those changes that are coming?
Yeah, I really don't know, and I think nobody knows, and that's part of what makes this so challenging. I think we are accustomed to believing that somebody knows, like maybe I don't know, but my boss knows, or my boss's boss knows, or, the president knows, or whatever it is. So sort of coming to the terms of like publishers haven't said very much about what the future is going to look like, not because they're withholding that information, but because they genuinely haven't figured it out yet. So, I think some of it's going to be business as usual, and people hopefully will still want books. And, I've heard the argument made that with so much time off from filming new TV content, that maybe there's going to be more of a market for books, because that's something that can keep, being generated and coming out during a pandemic. But yeah, I don't know, but I hope that I am relevant in whatever it is.
So it is my hope that people are spending enough time. There's only so much Netflix you can watch. There's only so many video games you can play.
Read a book.
People are rediscovering their love of reading, and there are readers that had fallen out of habit that are back in and hungry for more books.
I would very much like that to be the case.
Me too. And then my last question for you is always some variation. If you could go back to any point in your writing career, the very start, somewhere in the middle, wherever would be useful to you, and give yourself some advice that would have made a huge difference for your career and might make a huge difference in the career of all the writers who are listening or watching us, what would you go back and tell yourself, and what would you tell them?
Something that would have made a huge difference in my career. I don't know exactly what this would have looked like played out, but my most successful book was this YA novel called The Song Will Save Your Life, which came out in 2013. It's been translated into 12 languages, and literally to this day, as in like 3 hours ago, I, get messages from readers about how much it meant to them. And I think there was probably some way to parlay that into greater success that I did not do. And that's unfortunate, because now it's like the most successful moment of my career was 8 years ago, and hopefully there will be future highs that I have yet to reach. But publishing is it's not like a straight mountain or like career ladder sort of thing. You can have great highs followed by lots of not so highs. It's not like, once you have one really successful book, then everything else after that is guaranteed to be successful. So sort of, appreciate the successes while you have them. Do what you can to parlay them into more successes. And then I guess like don't compare the other things that are not like that to that same moment. Just kind of enjoy each thing for what it is.